Hey guys, this is Miss Gruzmark, and we're going to do some of the IXL lessons. So you were asked to look through all the ones I've assigned. You can see them here. You should also have a star up here on the top right that says suggestions, and you should be tracking those, okay? So this video is just going to walk you through a couple of the assignments. If you were stuck, okay, so I'm just going to click on this first one. We did this one in class. This is definitely a line segment because it has no arrows. This one has one arrow. That means it's a ray, like the sun's rays. It starts at the sun and goes off in an infinite direction. Two arrows, that would be a line. So you're just learning how to name these. That would be a ray. You get the point, okay? So each has kind of its own little type of assignment. Here I'm looking for the midpoint, so the number in the middle there is 71. And the number in the middle there, if I add the 2 plus 6, and divide the 2, I get 4. Add the 2 and divide by 2. Add the 2, divide by 2, I get 4. 3 plus 5 is 8. Divide by 2, I get 4. All right, add the 2, I get 162. Divide by 2, I get 81. Add the 2, divide by 2. Okay, so if I add the 2, I get 9. All right, so add the 2. Oh boy, here we go. Gotta get add the 2, so 4 plus 5. Divide by 2, 4.5. So we know that the middle is 4.5. Add the 2, divide by 2. Add the 2, divide by 2. So that would be negative 4.5. Again, how did I get that answer? I added the 2 and divided by 2. Negative 5 plus negative 4 equals negative 9. Divide by 2, negative 4.5. Add the 2, divide by 2. Okay, that would be negative 60.5. Now you're going to be given the same types of questions, but they'll still be the same questions. So add the 2, divide by 2. Negative 60, negative 45. Negative 60 plus negative 45. Divide by 2, I get negative 52.5. Negative 52.5. Add the 2, divide by 2. Okay. So, add a positive and negative number. Add the same thing, add the 2, divide by 2. So one number is negative 1. The other number is 2, so I added the 2, and then I divided by 2. I get positive 0.5. Positive 0.5. Beautiful. Okay, so I've definitely got that up to a reasonable number. Again, to find the middle, add the 2, divide by 2. Okay? Back to geometry. So I've looked at those two. Now let's look at, it looks like we just have this clump right here. So let's look at this assignment. Is this a triangle? So I want to do 11, 13, and 14. All right, so if I add 11, 13, and 14. So is 11 squared plus 13 squared equal 14? We're asking if this is true. That's 121. 13 squared is 169. 14 squared is 196. Okay, so if we add these two, we say no. 190 is not equal to 196, so we go back to the assignment and say no. What about a 9, 12, 15? Okay, so what about a 9, 12, 15? Is this equal? So 9 times 9, 12 times 12, 15 times 15. All right, if we add these two, interesting, I get a yes. So apparently a 9, 12, 15. Now you may be wondering why. Well, that's our 3, 4, 5. So if you multiplied each number by 3, it's 3 times bigger. 9, 12, 15 is technically not a Pythagorean triple. It's just a larger version of the 3, 4, 5. It's not a unique Pythagorean triple, so we're going to say yes. What about a 3, 4, 5? Absolutely. We just proved that one because 3 squared plus 4 squared is 5 squared. 21, 72, 75. 21, 72, 75. 21, 72, 75. All right, now I need this calculator. 21 times 21, or 21 squared, 441. 441. 72 times 72. 5184. Okay, so we can add those together. So we're saying, is this equal? Well, let's see what 75 times 75. Is it 5625? 75, 5625. Oh, cool. So 75 times 75 is 5625, and those would be equal to each other. So we are going to say yes. Nice work. Okay. So now that's how we do that one. Let's look at these other couple of assignments. Okay, so it says trig function, sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, so sine is opposite. So if I go to W and I go to opposite, I get 15. And then hypotenuse is 17. There we go. Tangent is, so tangent of R is opposite over, so opposite 77 over adjacent, which that's 36. I don't want the 85 because that's the hypotenuse. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. Nice work. Okay, tangent of U is opposite 48 over the adjacent 20. But notice both are even, so we got to be careful there. If I divide the top by 2, I get 24. I divide the bottom by 2, half of 20 is 10. Yeah, notice I'm still not done because they're both even. So if I divide that in 2, I get 12. If I divide 10 in 2, I get 5. So I'm going to put 12 fifths. Ooh, okay, so right about this point, you may have gotten frustrated, and we gave some tips for this today, right? So the tangent of I is opposite 5 over 3, 5 over 3. Opposite, tangent is opposite over adjacent, so 5 over 3. Oh, I didn't need that square root sign. Here, tangent of, oh, they did it. I'm going to have to get out my piece of paper now. Okay, so tangent, they got harder, they got harder. We knew it was going to get harder. All right. So here's our problem. And let's see if we can do this. I can't find the tangent of Q because it's opposite over, this is my hypotenuse. The tangent is opposite over adjacent. So I actually, if they have to have tangent, I'm going to have to use Pythagorean theorem to solve this. Okay, so a squared plus b squared is c squared. We're going to call 5a. B, they didn't tell us that. We need that number. That's what we need. So I'm going to call that b. And the hypotenuse c is 8. So 25, 64. So b is the square root of 39. And we knew it was going to get tricky, didn't we? So the tangent is opposite. So opposite is 5. Adjacent is the square root of 39. However, I'd love to put that in there. See how much harder this got? Got a lot harder really fast. I can't because I learned today I have to show it like this. Okay, so 5 times the square root of 39 over 39. 5 times the square root of 39 divided by, no, don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. So just typing it in here, over 39. Let's try it this way. 5 times the square root of 39. Okay, that's better. Over 39. Submit. Fingers crossed. Yay! Okay. We got another one, so I'm going to take this one back to my notes and stick it in my notes. So the tangent of f is opposite over adjacent. And for tangent, I don't need this hypotenuse. So the tangent of f would be 2 times the square root of 5 over 4 times the square root of 2. Okay, but I can't have that. Remember, I'm multiplying by the square root of 2 because I can't have that at the bottom. So 2 over 4 times the square root of 5 times the square root of 2 all over 2. All right, so let's see. This would cancel. And up top, we have the square root of 10 over 4. And this just got hard. So again, on this assignment, I think if you get to a number about 50, you're probably doing good. I would stop. You can keep going if you want and watch the tips. But again, back to square root of 10 over 4. Okay, so I think the answer is the square root of 10 over 4. Fingers crossed. Okay. I'm going to stop there. Okay, so back to our assignment, right? Geometry. I gave you tips to everyone except these last two. So we can do these. These will be quick. Right. What is the sign of this? So we said in class, if it's 90 minus that, then the sign should be equal to the same thing. So the same thing here would be 0.1. And so if they're complements, if x and y are complements, then they have to be equal to the same thing. So we're going to put 0.2, same thing, equal to the same amount. So here, same with tangent, and you haven't learned about this cotangent, but they're complements, so they would be equal to the same thing. And here, one more time, what would be the tangent? If the cotangent, they'd be equal to the same thing. Negative 4.4. All right, so now that we know all of them are equal, now we can say, well, they have to be complements. What's a complement? Well, the complement of 7, be like, oh, that's so complimentary on you. What's the complement? So the complement of 7 is, okay, hold on, let's put this picture in here. All right, perfect. We have the complement of 7 has to be 90 minus 7, so that would be 83. 83. So the sine of 7 has to equal the cosine of 83. Okay, so I'm going to put 83 in here. 83. All right, looking at this next one. What would be the complement of 54? So the sine of 54 would equal the cosine of, I just need 90 minus 54. So I'm going to say the cosine of 36 would equal the sine of 54. Now, can I use a calculator to check this? Absolutely. Is the sine of 54 equal to the cosine of 36? Let's try this out. Let's look at the number again. Is the sine of 54, okay, so the sine of 54, I get 0.809. Is that the same number as the cosine of 36? The cosine of 36, 0.809. It is the same number. So that's what we notice here, and that's all we're really supposed to be noticing. Okay, so now they've given us a negative number, and this gets a little tricky. We did this in class. So let's see our problem again. The tangent of negative 44. So 90 minus a negative 44, and it's because I minused a negative, so I'm going to get the same thing as 90 plus 44. So that's going to be positive the cotangent of, what is that, 134. 134. So it feels like I did something different, but I really didn't. Okay, what about the cosine of 151? All right, so the cosine of 151, again, I just need to take 90 minus 151. Notice I'm going to get a negative. 90 minus 151, 90 minus 151, negative 61. So that's the sine of negative 61. All right, so that feels a little weird, but I'm doing the same thing every time. I'm just taking 90 minus this number over here, 90 minus that number over here. I'm really doing the same thing each time. It just looks different. The sine of negative 61. Okay, that should do you pretty good. I'm up to about 75. So the last one I've assigned for geometry is this one, trig functions in a calculator. Now this is right out of a calculator. You can use a calculator right off the internet. It doesn't matter. The cosine of 34. So the cosine of 34, 0.829. But they said round to the nearest hundred. So 0.829 would round to 83. Right? What's the cosine of 31? So cosine of 31, type that in, cosine of 31, 0.857. 0.857. But again, notice I got to round to the nearest hundred, so that's got to be a 6. Voila. All right, I've previewed every assignment you have on there. Feel free to kind of fast forward and rewind as you're working through your assignments. If you need help on any of those, best of luck, guys.